Outside, a thunderstorm wept over the village of Edeha, flooding the red earth pass, filling the air with the scent of rain and fear. Inside the clay-walled hut, the lantern flickered as Mama Ejide held her newborn in trembling arms. The child was perfect, warm, blinking, alive, but silent. Not a wail, not a gasp, just wide, haunting eyes that stared at the world like she already understood its pain. The silence was so thick it felt like the walls had collapsed into it. The village elders gathered at dawn, summoned by whispers of the strange birth. One of them, old Chief Olama, the last living keeper of the scrolls, trembled more than usual as she entered the hut. She laid her hand on the child's head, closed her eyes and began to shake. "It has happened," she whispered. "The Silent One has returned." The prophecy, buried in whispers and decaying palm leaf manuscripts, had foretold of a girl born in silence under lightning sky, a girl whose voice could shake kingdoms or summon ruin, a girl who must not speak until her 21st birthday, or bring the wrath of the ancestors down upon the world. Some wept, some prayed, others turned their backs. They named her Nia, meaning purpose. But from the moment she arrived, the villagers began to call her the Mute Curse. Nia never spoke, not a single word, not even in sleep. But her silence was not empty, it was loud. It screamed through her drawings on stone, the way her eyes lingered too long on sorrow, and the way she hugged her mother like it was the only thing anchoring her. Other children avoided her or mocked her. They would clap their hands and shout nonsense at her, just to see her reaction. But Nia never flinched. She would only watch them, eyes calm, expression unreadable, until they grew uncomfortable and ran. Her mother, Mama Ejide, adored her but feared what might come. She tried everything, priest charms, dances under moonlight, but nothing made Nia speak. Still, Mama Ejide never gave up hope. "My daughter is not cursed," she'd whisper to herself. "She is chosen." Once, when a child fell from a tree and broke his leg, it was Nia who found him. She didn't scream or call for help. Instead, she tore her own wrapper and fashioned a sling, carrying him on her back all the way home. She didn't need words. Her silence spoke louder than most screams ever could. At 8, Nia wandered into the sacred grove, a place children were forbidden to go. The grove was filled with giant baobab trees, old as memory. At the center stood one unlike the others, its bark covered in carvings, names, prayers, warnings. They called it the Whispering Tree. Villagers said the ancestors spoke through its leaves, that if you touched it with a burdened heart, it would whisper the truth you needed, but not always the one you wanted. Nia approached it with no fear. The wind howled, the leaves rustled like voices in pain, but she walked straight to the trunk and placed her palm against the bark. In that moment, her body stiffened, her eyes widened, and she heard it. "Hold your silence, child. It is not punishment, it is power." The wind died instantly, the air stilled. Nia stumbled back but did not cry out. From that day on, a large black raven followed her wherever she went, never speaking, never leaving. When Nia was 12, a boy named Sifu moved to Edeha with his uncle, the new schoolmaster. Sifu was talkative, endlessly curious, and had a laugh like morning bells. He became fascinated by Nia the moment he saw her. He followed her around like a shadow. He asked questions every day. "Do you like the rain? Do you ever sing in your dreams? What color are your thoughts?" She never answered. But one day, she drew a single line in the sand, a curved shape that looked like a smiling sun. And Sifu grinned wider than he ever had. "See," he said, "that's your way of talking. I can hear you." They became inseparable. He read aloud to her under the shade of neem trees. She would draw little pictures for him in response. Theirs was a friendship built not on sound, but on understanding. On the night before her 15th birthday, Nia awoke gasping. Outside, a storm had risen from nowhere, lashing the rooftops, shaking the trees. In her sleep, she had seen flames, fire consuming the village. A shadowed figure with glowing golden eyes stood watching, arms outstretched, and from her mouth a scream had erupted in the dream. A scream not of fear, but of warning. "He is coming." She bolted upright. Her drawings had already started. By dawn, she had covered the mud wall of their hut with depictions of fire, of a man in gold, of darkness falling. Her mother entered and froze. She recognized the image. Long ago, the last silent one had drawn the same vision. Just before war consumed the region. The elders called a gathering. She must be watched closely, they said. Perhaps her silence is beginning to crack. 2 years passed. Then, on a dry season day, the unthinkable happened. The village caught fire. A wind-carried spark from the forge ignited the roofs. Flames tore through homes faster than screams could rise. People ran, cried, prayed, and Nia walked, through smoke, through fire. The flames parted before her as if they knew her. Her hair blew wildly, her skin shimmered with heat, but not a mark touched her. She carried a baby from a collapsing house. She pulled an elder from debris. Those who watched dropped to their knees. She walks through fire untouched, they said. She is more than we feared. From that day, the village no longer mocked her, but they feared her more than ever. On a market morning, Nia found an object wrapped in faded cloth on her doorstep. She unwrapped it to reveal a mirror, old, cracked, and heavy. She looked into it, but her reflection moved on its own. It spoke. They will silence you again, on your 21st day, unless you speak first. The reflection bled from its eyes. It smiled sadly. She dropped the mirror, breathing hard. Later that night, she buried it beneath the whispering tree. But even buried, it whispered from the ground. On the eve of her 20th birthday, Seafood, now a man, returned. He had left years ago, broken-hearted by her silence. But now he knelt in the moonlight. I have never stopped loving you, he said. Speak. Just one word, let me hear your voice. Her eyes glistened, her lips parted, but no sound came. She touched his hand, then turned away. He left in silence. The ravens circled above. A week before her 21st birthday, the skies turned black. Thunder rolled even on sunny days, crops rotted, animals fled, children were born still. The village elders gathered in fear. She must not speak. We must bind her. On the morning of her birthday, they came with ropes. But as they neared her hut, the raven let out a piercing cry. The ground cracked. Lightning struck the village square. Nia stepped out. Her eyes were not human. They glowed with the memory of centuries. She stood atop the sacred stone, barefoot, dressed in white. Her mother stood beside her, silent tears falling. You don't have to, her mother whispered, but if your heart says yes, then speak. The villagers watched in terror. Nia closed her eyes and then she spoke. Not a word. A wave. Her voice was thunder. It bent trees, lifted dust, split the clouds. Her silence exploded into language. Not of this world, but of the ancestors. I am not the end, she said. I am the beginning. As she spoke, wounds healed. The sick stood. The dead opened their eyes. The village was cleansed. And when she finished, Nia fell to her knees, not in exhaustion, but in peace. And the world finally heard her.